Hi, everyone. Olá todos. Olá todos. My name is Ricardo Vilela, and I'm one of the co-founders of the Brazil Tech Connect, and together with Angela Stadi.
Everyone, I'm Angela Starting. Welcome to our webinar today.
Let me share my screen so we can present the slides for today's session. So it's a real pleasure to officially open the first webinar of our pre-mission series as we prepare for the UK FinTech Week in London. This mission is gaining quite a good momentum, and we are super excited about the level of engagement that we're seeing. So far, we have companies registered not only from Brazil, but also from Mexico, Chile, and the United States, which already shows the international relevance in the scale of what we're building together. The UK FinTech Week mission takes place in April from 20th to the 24th in London, and it's a 5-day immersion designed to FinTech companies looking to internationalize. The program will include the Innovate Finance Global Summit, sessions at the London Stock Exchange, the Brazil UK FinTech Forum at the Embassy of Brazil, events with the Canning House and the Citigroup, visit to Revolut, and much more. We are also honored to bring an exceptional delegation to London, including industry leaders, scale-ups, venture builders, legal experts, and our VIP participant, Mr. Otávio Damaso, the former Deputy Governor and Regulation for the Central Bank of Brazil. His presence clearly reflects the importance of this initiative. And obviously, I could not start this session without mentioning our partners and sponsors, Brazilian Association of Fintechs, London and Partners, Innovate Finance, Level 39, Canning House, Citigroup, London Stock Exchange, Gunnar Cook, EBS, and Revolut. We are super grateful for their collaboration and trust in this initiative. So today's session is focused on understanding the UK FinTech ecosystem and how Latin companies can position themselves strategically for expansion. And to guide the discussion today, I'm super grateful and delighted to introduce our moderator, Ludmila Volochin. She's a Brazilian lawyer and a public policy expert with over 18 years of experience in government, regulation, and digital platforms across Latin America. She has held leadership roles in the Brazilian government, advisor major tech companies, and she holds a master in social development from the University of Sussex. Ludmila, over to you.
Thanks, Ricardo. Welcome, everyone. Thank you so much for having me here today. So with no further ado, we're going to start this session today. As Ricardo mentioned, we are going to talk today about the UK FinTech landscape, our ecosystem here. And to stay with me and to talk with me today, we will have Rodrigo Malachias and Pablo Klein, both Brazilians who are in the UK. So Rodrigo Malachias is a Brazilian entrepreneur and innovation leader based in the UK with over 2 decades of experience in product development, design strategy, and fintech consulting. He is the founder of MedibleGo, a design and innovation consultancy operating across 13 countries in Latin America and the UK, with clients including Visa, MasterCard, Telefónica, Mercedes-Benz, Vodafone, and the Inter-American Development Bank. More recently, Rodrigo co-founded MedibleGo, an AI-powered platform backed by Innovate UK twice, that empowers micro, small, and medium enterprise to develop market fit products, access micro lending, and scale their businesses. MedibleGo is a spin-off of Medible and reflects Rodrigo's mission to democratize and access to the same strategy tools that large corporations use, making them available to everyday entrepreneurs worldwide. Having navigated the UK entrepreneur ecosystems firsthand, including its regulatory environment, government support schemes, and fintech partnerships, Rodrigo brings practical ground-level insight into what it takes for a Latin company to establish and grow in the United Kingdom. Pablo, I will later go with you and introduce you properly, but since we're going to start with Rodrigo, I will go with the first question here. Rodrigo, so you have been based in the UK, London and Brighton, for some time now, and have worked across 13 countries in Latin America and the UK. What is the single biggest difference you notice between the Brazilian and the British fintech ecosystems?
Well, thanks so much for having me here, Ludmila. What a great presentation! I think that you should be always doing my PR. I haven't. I would not be able to do better than you. Thank you so much. I'm very flattered about that. So very excited to be here. I know that you're asking about the differences between Brazil and the UK, but I would like to start telling common ground that we have between the UK and Brazil, if that's okay. I'm sorry. So very often when we come from Latin America or Brazil, so most of my life I haven't lived in Brazil. At this point in life, I have lived a lot of time in Chile, Australia, Italy. Before coming to the UK, I was in Italy. And very often we do see ourselves as Latin people a bit more, I don't know, scared, maybe not sure if it's scared the word, but like uh, we feel diminished comparing to a more developed countries. And I would like to say that we have nothing to be scared of. We have nothing to be ashamed of. We have nothing. Things here in the UK, they are much more similar to Latin America than, or to Brazil in this sense, than what we could expect. And I'll give you one example. It's not a financial one. Then I can dig into the financial one. But very recently, not very recently, but like a couple of years ago or 1 year ago, there was the opening of the latest metro tube line here in London, which is called Elizabeth Line. It is amazing. It's very good metro. I mean, it's like nothing to say. The only thing that it was, I don't know, 5 years delayed, 100 billion pounds over budget. It sounds so much Latin, like the problem. They try to pretend here that they are like, I don't know. I'm not saying that they are not professional, but yeah, they like to pretend here they're like all Porsche professional and everything goes nice and smooth. But the reality, it's just like as it is. It's I don't know. So that's the first thing. The second thing, and I would say that there's a huge difference, particularly in the financial sector comparing to other sectors. Or the first difference that I would like to point, it is the size of the market. The financial size of the market in the UK is huge. So very often we do see fintechs that come from abroad. They are a bit more generic or generalist on trying to solve every problem on the financial sector. When you come here, what we see it is that you tend to be a bit more successful when you find one specific use case to solve that out. Just because there's volume for this. No, there's a huge opportunity and volume that could allow you to be more specific into your niche. And in that sense, I would say that English people, they do like that. They do like more expertise than generalist. And since we arrived here, yeah, we have to pivot a lot. We have to change it a lot, not just what we do, but also our speech and how to reach out, just to be a bit more assertive in that extent. And the other thing, it is very bloody competitive. I do know that the financial sector or the fintech industry in Brazil is very sophisticated as well. It's very interesting, but here is, I don't know. I don't really have the figures on my top of my head, but it's like kind of like just in London itself, they have like 3,000, 4,000 fintechs. It is huge. It is like the amount of companies that you're gonna find here. It is so in one sense, it's just more competitive. You have to be really good to be able to generate differentiation here, to be able to find your common ground, and I'll stop here, Ludmila. One other thing that for sure is very hard, but I wouldn't say that just for not just here in the UK, but overall when you are a foreigner and trying to open business in your country, it is just the connection. It is so bloody hard to get the network, to meet the people, to shake the right hands. For sure, everybody who's coming here have a already successful business in Brazil or Latam. They already know their things. They have the connections. They have friends from the school, from the university, from the work, and everybody. When you arrive here, you're just lonely, and that's tough. That's very very hard when you find out that you're kind of by yourself and have to struggle a bit. So well, these sort of things that Brazil Tech Connect is doing very good to put in contact with people who is already here. So and that's my opening. I'm sorry I talked too much, Ludmila.
No, it's all right. And I love that you brought as well the not only the difference, but first of all, what we have in common. And I think that especially for the fintech ecosystem, Latin America is highly regulated, as is in the UK. So it's a very good thing for the fintechs from Brazil, from Latin America, who are already used to all the regulations and to talk to the regulators. When they go to the UK, they are already used to that, and so they will get better connected with the regulators there. So tell me a bit more about so MedibleGo. It has received the Innovate UK backing twice, and it is a significant stamp for approval from the British government. What was that process like, and what advice would you give to the Brazilian fintechs and Latin American fintechs looking to access public support in the UK?
It is hard as hell. I mean, it is very difficult to get grants from the government here. 99.9% of the founders, they are not able to get it. It is very competitive. It is very hard. I would say that have got harder in this past in this latest government. I'm not doing political or really political in this sort of sense, but like this latest government now, they have less grants available for founders, so that makes it even harder. I mean, I would just try like what you if you are willing to go to the route on developing or on getting grant, you have to understand the mindset of the government people. Why they will give the money to you, and very often is not really related on what you're doing or how disruptive or how important it is the fact that you're doing, but more related on the amount of jobs that you're gonna create, the amount of taxes that you're gonna pay, the how more sophisticated will be the ecosystem in the UK after have that deployed. So try to angle through that position. So I mean, I'm not an expert. I would say that I'm just a lucky one we have applied for 4 grants. We have received 2 of them. So yeah, just kind of luck, but I would say that have worked for us. Very importantly, for sure, you have to be a UK-based company. You cannot, or at least for the grants that you have received from Innovate UK, you have to be a UK-based company. There's some sort of programs that you can do exchange with other countries, most likely European-based countries. So there's like this kind of joint grants that you can do with other countries, and but yeah, very often like within the European Union. There's and to get good insight on how to get ready, how to prepare, I would suggest to talk with Innovate UK directly. They have a role that's called I don't know what's the role called now, but by luckiness, my UK Innovate UK advisor He's from Chile, so I lived in Chile. So yeah, we have like this Latin thing. He's very supportive. He really tried to give like some good tips regarding the grants or what's going on, so we can be on the top of that. So it's like try to angle while we are applying how will that benefit the government, the jobs, the tax, and all that. And yeah, it's very important. Try to get someone from Innovate UK to chat with, and that will definitely help you to go through this process.
Brilliant, but I'm pretty sure you're much more than just luck. I'm very sure there's a lot of competence there. So,
oh, so kind of you.
no, I'm just being honest here. But so the other thing, you helped to facilitate the wise expansions into Chile. What role can UK FinTech partners play for Latin America companies entering the market and vice versa?
Yeah, so we have helped a few fintechs to go to Chile. Particularly, it is the market. I'm Brazilian, but most of the thing that I have in Latin America, it is in Chile. We have helped few of them, including Wise, and so I don't know. It's like meeting the people, shaking hands, understand what they need, and try to see how can you support. It is not a real business that we do out of it. In this particular case with Wise, they were trying to extend their payment railways in Latin America, in Chile particularly. And well, the biggest bank in Chile, they are a very dear, close client of ours. I talked with the CEO and said, "Hey, look, you guys are willing to collaborate with these guys," and yeah, and then we set up the meeting and we went from there, and everything went quite well. With the other one that we have helped to get there, their name is Planda. It is a hyper personalization AI platform for banks, a very, very cool platform. With them, we have helped them a bit more than just like presenting people. We are helping them on getting deals and also doing some operations back in Latin America. But again, I think Ludmila, it's like it's not my core business, and very often I just kind of help in sort of situations when I don't know, when I like the founder, when I like the people involved, and when we hit along on a personal level, and then business just follow, I would say.
Fair enough. I will jump to Pablo now, so we don't monopolize the conversation and bring a bit other perspectives here. So Pablo Klein, he is also a Brazilian fintech entrepreneur based in the UK, and he's the founder of Primify, formerly known as PrimPay, a financial service platform that he built from the ground up in Manchester, England in 2018. So with backing from the British government, PrimeFi has grown from a payment solution into a comprehensive financial hub serving over 1,200 active clients across segments, including education, SaaS, gaming, investment, and media. So PrimeFi specialized in cross-border payment solutions, supporting Brazilian payment methods, Pix, boletos, credit cards, alongside the international option across Latin America and Asia. The company also offered open finance integrations, international remittances, and mass payouts, enabling companies to operate seamlessly across markets. And before founding PrimeFi, Pablo served as a senior manager of user experience at Shopify and holds a degree from the University of Oxford. Pablo's experience navigating the UK regulatory landscape, accessing British government support, scaling without external funding, and building a fintech that bridges Brazil and the global market makes him a uniquely relevant voice for participants preparing for the UK FinTech Week mission. Pablo, thank you so much for being here with us today. I know that you sold PrimeFi back in December, so I might be a bit not updated in your mini bio. I'm sorry about that. If you want to also tell us a bit more about your current endeavors, I would be very happy to know before we go to the first question for you.
Amazing, thank you. Yeah, so basically in Q4 2025, Prime5 was sold to fintech focused fund, regulated fund. So I'm gonna add my 2 cents here quickly just to say that the UK as a market was part of that, made a good contribution because while Rodrigo said Latin America is very well known for a very well-structured fintech market, but the UK also is very strong on that field. And having expanded to the UK was a benefit to later sell to international funds. So yeah, thank you.
Yeah, so that's very interesting because my first question to you was going to be exactly about that. So Prime5, you founded the company in Manchester back in 2018, and you grew it to over 1,200 clients. And as Rodrigo mentioned, UK is very competitive. So what made you choose the UK as a home base for a Brazilian fintech rather than staying here in Brazil or going to the US, for example, which is normally what fintech founders here in Latin America think first, to go to the US other than the UK?
Great point. Back at the time, I would say that the two main things that we had in mind in terms of expanding to the UK is first of all, one of our competitors back at the time was already very strong in the US. So we were looking for other markets that we could have a better interest in terms of market share. But when we talk about the UK market as well, in terms of opportunities as a cross-border payment solution, we had to look countries that had immigrants around, expats, and there we go. And then the UK, it's a great example of that, especially London, Manchester, and Birmingham, right? So the research that we made back at the time was mainly focusing in expansion opportunity. And I have to say that from a financial perspective, the UK market is a good place to establish its HQ for a fintech, because by this way we can expand it to other markets. I would say with a more in a more balanced way, I would say. So for this reason, after expanding to the UK, a couple of years later, we expanded across EEA, even after Brexit, right? So when we moved to Portugal, to Spain, to Netherlands, and a few other places, coming from the UK was much easier than coming from a Latin American country. And I would also add that when we talk about the UK as a region for a B2B deals itself, I would say that it's much easier. I feel that a UK based companies, they are much more friendly to hear about innovation, especially cross-border innovation, than compared to other markets. So it was quite good to speaking with London-based, Birmingham-based, Manchester-based companies. So yeah, that's the quick overview of 6 years ago. Yeah.
Fantastic. So you mentioned that Prime5 is a company focused on cross-border transactions. And speaking of a global scale of cross-border, and thinking also about open finance and open data environment, how has the UK's environment, the open finance environment, is being compared to Brazil's? Because UK is the the motherland of open finance, but let's face it, Brazil has leapfrogged the UK open finance, and this is a very big topic all over Latin America now. So how can you compare these countries?
Yeah, I would say that Brazil is a great learner. So it's a great student because if we see the correlation between the UK market and the Brazilian market, we have the comparison between faster payments and PIX, open banking, open finance from the UK to open banking to Brazil. So the work that it's kind of aligned between these both markets are very good. And when we look for open finance coming from Mexico, from other Latin America countries, it's great to see how Latin America in general is well developed. As for example, Diego from AB FinTechs, that is one of your supporters. He's always around Latin America, learning very fast and very keen about the progress that it's making from those regions. So in general, I would say that we could bring as a company, as a private company, the international peaks back in the time to the UK. That are nowadays we are seeing the government of Brazil introducing that. So last week they kind of released a kind of international peaks between Paraguay and Brazil. So it's glad to see that the private sector is always using the public innovation as a first glance and allowing the public sector to learn from that, right? So yeah, it's good to see how open finance, open banking, and all the other local initiatives that works together between Brazil and the UK.
Absolutely, and I think that as you mentioned about these international fast payment methods, they are evolving nowadays. I think more than 70 countries around the world have regional fast payment methods, and thinking of a transnational way to make the payments, it's going to be probably the next real connection. And if you think about countries like the UK that have so many expats or immigrants who are still sending money back to their places, this is something that will help a lot of people to develop and to be financially included. So that's pretty amazing.
And at the end of the day, how I see a cross-border payment solution is not only allowing a specific tourist or expat to buy somewhere to saving some pennies. It's more about giving more power to the population, because with that they have a more purchase power at the end, right? If they save 5-10% because doesn't have more middle players, you allow the population to invest more in the economy, right? So it's good for everyone. It's good for the population. It's good for both governments, and it's good for the merchants because they're gonna receive more sales.
Yes, absolutely. And when you think for a fintech founder who will be at the UK FinTech Week for the first time, walking into events like the IFGS or the London Stock Exchange session, what is your number one tactical piece of advice for making real connections?
Yeah, great. I would say that I'm going to this specific week for 6 or 7 years in a row. I love the environment that it's created in London in terms of fintech, in terms of tech in general. And I would say that what you guys and the Brazilian community is giving to this week in London, it's amazing because it's where you not only bring a delegation from Brazil, but also you support the networking to be created, right? So I can give example, right? So Rodrigo itself, it's a person that I met in my first year of this event, and we know each other since there. So it's a great, I would say that it's a great experience. So my first and main tip on this is that you should understand that it's not only walk around. So do your homework before the event, the side events that you go. So for example, Canning House, they always bring amazing content, amazing sites, and the after work, the happy hour style, and the Canning House is always such a valuable thing because you can meet people that it's very rare to meet in a common basis, right? So my main tip is do your homework before going to the site agenda because you're able to create a very solid network over there.
That's absolutely true. And I will bring Rodrigo back to the conversation now. Rodrigo, same question to you, actually. So what would be the tips that we will give for a fintech founder or someone coming from Latin America to London, to the UK FinTech Week in this April for the first time?
So yeah, not just to repeat it, but echo everything on what Pablo said. But and adding on the top of that is maybe a few other more practical things. First of all, you must have some sort of good English. It is so hard if you're planning to come here to find clients, customers, partners, investors. If you don't have you don't have to sound like British. You don't have to be perfect. You can do a mistake. You can have a very strong accent. People don't really care, but you have to be able to make your message go through. I do mention that, but very often, like we see people that come here that's not ready for that. So I don't know if someone's coming on the phone that do not speak English or something. Bring someone who does. And really, I know that's annoying, and that's really annoying for me because I don't do it, and I have learned it in the hard way. Practice your pitch. I know it is boring. It is annoying to be, I don't know, looking in the mirror, or I don't know, or talking by yourself. I never do that. I have never done that, but I have I have missed a lot of opportunities because of not doing that. So I think that having a very nailed pitch on 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 yeah, and not having like a 10-minute speech that you vomit everything over the person, and people here are too polite to interrupt and to say what the fuck, stop talking, and yeah, let's. So yeah, talk as a human. Try to do like, I don't know, 30 seconds one, what you do, and then getting interested on what the person is doing. I'll try to get information first, try to be interested and ask you first, and then you use that to tailor your pitch. And so yeah, I would say that genuinely be genuine on trying to connect with the people, understand what they do, and then from there try to sell what you're aiming to do. And do not expect that you're going to have any sort of contract signed that easy, that quick. I'd say that the UK, just like Latin American people, they are kind of relationship kind of people. They like to shake hands. They like to get to know you. They like to see you often and frequently, and after that the business come. So yeah, manage your expectations, and yeah, and have fun. Yeah, just have fun, have a few pints, have fun, nice pictures. Yeah, it's try to enjoy yourself. That's very important.
I think we've missed Ludmila. Rodrigo, just let me check
whether she didn't
Ludmila...
like the suggestions. Yeah, I'm sorry about that.
Probably not, but that's technical issues. But we have a question from the Q&A, so let's open the floor to everyone. Oh, she's back.
So sorry.
No worries. I was just saying that we
Sorry.
have the Q&A open so participants can send their questions. Welcome back.
Yes, absolutely. Sorry about that. Yeah, I can't see the Q&A. So, Rico, if you can see anyone
Yep.
making questions, please let me know. If there's no question, or is
We
there?
have one already. Yes.
Okay, bring it.
So how has open banking evolved in Brazil, and what can that teach other countries?
If I can, yeah, if I can give my two cents to what Marcela asked about open banking in Brazil, is that in Brazil we are already seeing not only open banking but open finance and open insurance nowadays. So what we have seen in the market is banks and other licensed platforms, licensed companies, including InsurTechs, for example, that are exchanging contracts, data from individuals when authorized by the individual itself to work with better rates itself. So in short, I would say that the open concept in Brazil is growing very rapidly in a way that the UK, I know that the UK is looking for that, and hopefully we see that improving in the UK as well. Because UK, we already have a lot of great use cases from major banks, from neobanks, that they are using open banking in some way, but they are using mainly as a mirror state where you with your main neobank, you can see your balance from another bank, and that's it. So it's more the first layer itself. So if Marcela, you're going to the week itself, I would suggest you to share with British, share with local professionals how great Brazil is doing on that field.
Rodrigo, do you want to add something to that, or?
No, I think that's public over everything. That's perfect, and not really my area. I don't want to fuck it up.
All right. So yeah, if I can also add another 2 cents to this comment. I think Brazil has relied on regulation a lot. It's the regulators pushed the open finance ecosystem towards evolving in the velocity that they have. And also they stopped every now and then to do their checks and balances to see if everything was going through. It is very important for the country to talk. So all over the stakeholders, not mention. It doesn't matter if it is a financial institution, if it is just a fintech or any sort of API provider or anything like that. But it is very important to have everyone talking about and trying to figure out the best way to overcome any sort of difficulties. And Brazil has been able to do that brilliantly. So yeah, I think this is pretty much how Brazil can teach other countries. So I think that I've seen something here.
If I could say something about open bank, I'm sorry. I'm not sure about the Brazilian case, but here in the UK, banks here in the UK, they have lost billions and billions of pounds of revenue because of the open banking. So the open banking was created to make the market more competitive. And what is happening is that the incumbent players, they are losing a lot of money. So any sort of solution that you guys can create that could help a traditional bank to be more effective on open banking, at least they should hear you here. I mean, this is a very sensible area that at least, I don't know, all the tier 1 banks, they are very beginning to learn on how could they be more effective on having solutions or scaling product throughout open banking. as it is today, they just draining money from them. So they have a lot of infrastructure, a big infrastructure that drains a lot of money, and they also have competitors that are taking their business. So yeah, if you guys have some solutions about open banking that could make incumbent banks to be more efficient with whatever they're doing, there's definitely one need here. Sorry.
Fantastic. So I saw that Marco Oliveira has asked here in the chat regarding business culture. What tips would you guys, both Pablo and Rodrigo, what tips would you give to entrepreneurs not to do in the UK?
Rodrigo would like to go first.
No, please.
Okay, good. So from this perspective, I would, Marco, just add additional context on this. When I moved to the UK to expand PrimeFi, one of the things that I did a bit different was that I moved to Manchester, not to London. And when we talk about that, we have not only the culture behavior in terms of sales and R&D and business, but also understanding more, I would say, a counter side that is not very that doesn't have that much exposure to other cultures such as the Brazilian culture as an example, or Latin American one. So I would say that the British in terms of business, and only speaking about business related over here, is that they are not the same as usually as Latina in terms of warmness, right? So we don't call them to have a dinner at home or something like that fast in terms of a business related, which in Brazil sometimes if you want to build a B2B relationship, is quite common. You call for a barbecue, you call for a special dinner at home or something like that, right? So when we talk about this kind of events, you can find that sometimes with the Indian culture that is well present in the British community itself. So I already have been to the house of Indian entrepreneurs, where for them is quite common. So in short, understand how the local culture works and be more straight to the point. I would say that the business British culture is very aligned on that. As Rodrigo said, nothing gonna happen tomorrow, but in terms of comms, in terms of relationship, be straightforward to show your value, to show why you're there, and understand if fit with their needs.
Rodrigo?
Just for fun, I would like to disagree a bit with Pablo because I mean,
Please.
yeah, he's absolutely right. I'm not disagreeing for just being annoying, but we work so at MedibleGo. We work with Barclays. They are good clients of ours. And I have managed to do good friends there. So I don't know how fast can you invite someone for barbecue in Brazil, but yeah, that have happened here with me with this particular person in Barclays and other people. So throughout time, I think that they open. I just have to be patient, at least in my experience. And also, I would say. So instead of framing, Marco, what not to do, I'll try to allow yourself to be Brazilian, allow yourself to be Latin, allow yourself to be different from what they are. Don't be rude. I mean, the same kind of things that apply in Brazil in a social or professional kind of relationship would apply here. Don't arrive late. The kissing, I can address that. The kissing can be awkward because that's it's a mess all around the words. But yeah, don't be late. Just touch the people if they allow you to touch, as any other country. And but yeah, get interested with the person first, and get to and then throughout the time. So they are not fast, but throughout time they will open up, and for sure you can have a very good relationship, and allow yourself to excuse. Oh, I'm so sorry, I'm not sure here, but yeah, in Brazil we do like this, and so I would like to invite you to have a caipirinha. Everybody likes a caipirinha. I don't know, like just go for it. Like so don't be afraid. There's more similarity than differences. I would say. Yeah, and that is. I just wanted to disagree with Pablo, just for fun. All the other things is good.
I think
Amazing, man.
that about that it is very interesting. Before going to Amilcar's question, I like to probably combine the both of your answers here. That in fact shows that even if the UK is not as large as Brazil or Argentina or even Chile, if you think about all the extension of the country, or any other country, if we are going to think about Latin America, but if you consider that probably, so the region where I lived and Rodrigo lives, it is very warm and people are very friendly. Whereas if you are going to Midlands or if you're going more to the north of the UK, it's probably they are more restricted in a way. So study where you want to be based, and this is very interesting as well. UK is not only London. You can be successful everywhere in the UK, or you can be successful in Wales, in Scotland, or even if in Northern Ireland if you want. But it's not only London, and then you need to understand better how people behave in this region where you're going to be established. So I think you are both right here, guys. So yeah, just try to
No,
learn
that's
how,
what.
how things.
One thing, just to tap on what you just mentioned, Ludmila, which could be very relevant. London can be very competitive. So if you're planning to come here, maybe London is not the first city that's the easiest one to crack on. Very often you can find very interesting ecosystem of in, I don't know, in Edinburgh or Manchester or Birmingham. So they have enough interesting ecosystem, and for sure it will be easier, or might be a bit easier for you to differentiate yourself because it's not that competitive. So yeah, looking other markets can be very interesting. Yeah, and for sure UK is not that big as Brazil, that has a lot of Brazil inside Brazil, that with very different culture, but here it's kind of the same now. So yeah, on that with Ludmila, on how to learn the region that you're going to, and the person that you're talking to with.
Absolutely. And so to go to Amilcar's question here, for fintechs aiming to scale into markets like the UK, what are the pillars of financial and technological infrastructure that should be considered from the outset to avoid regulatory friction? I don't know, Rodrigo, Pablo, who wants to go first here?
In our case, MedibleGo is not regulated, so it's not really my area of expertise. But in our experience, areas that generate a lot of friction, it is about the would be in Brazil the data protection law, no, GDP, Lei General de Protección de Datos. That's a big thing here. It is most of our clients, when we engage with them, they are very concerned about that. So again, well, it's kind of regulatory. I'm not regulated as a fintech, but it's kind of regulatory, and that's the most frequent issues or things that we have to manage. To that sense, we have had to create a instance in our database in Europe, here in the UK, in the US. So we try to be very flexible on that. And so not direct to your point, but Almikar, but one other thing that I don't know in Brazil, but here has been quite easy, or it is quite easy to connect with the FCA, which is like the I don't know how they call it. I don't know how they call it in Brazil. It's like the
central bank.
it's the central bank. So yeah, the regulator. It's called FCA, Financial whatever authority. Conduct financial. Yeah. And so just before this call, I have a mission of a fintechs that we are going to Las Vegas. They have picked a few fintechs in the UK, which are the most interesting in the view of the government, and MedibleGo is one of them. And we are going to Las Vegas next month with this delegation. And within our group, there's someone from FCA. So which, by the way, she's a Mexican, a lovely lady, very fun, very open, very easy. Pablo should know her, Jenny Garcia. So they are very easy to talk with. So FCA, they always have like open doors. It's easy to reach, easy to talk with, and you're gonna find a lot of like people to exchange sort of ideas to see what is your, I don't know, regulatory situation here and how to be more efficient with that.
Fantastic. So I will just ask one last question for you guys before we close, because we are almost done here today. So when I was the head of public policy of the Brazilian Association for Startups, and we were talking about internationalization of startups in general, not only fintech, and what we saw was that the companies, the startups, they just think about going abroad or expanding their business after they had started their business in their home country. Do you think this is a way of going, or if a company has the intention of going international, should they start thinking about that from the ideation of their company?
I mean, I think that going global, it is easier somehow than doing local business. I don't know. I work with the incubator of the University of Helsinki, and that's something that I also always tell to the portfolio companies there, like try to be as global as possible. But I would say that in an early stage, the most important thing that you have to crack on, it is what's the problem that you are solving. So I wouldn't rush the things on. So I would just be the master on understanding the client's needs, understanding they are paying better than the customer themselves, and then you go from there, and then the business flourish. I wouldn't be prioritizing that much on things on, okay, how do I solve here in Brazil? How do I solve in the UK? How do I solve here? So find one, solve it well, have like this kind of mindset on how can I do this global. I'm going to have an architecture that will allow me to do that, but really nail down on bringing revenue, on having satisfied customer as fast as possible in every country that you go. So you start in Brazil, you nail that there, and then you see how to go to the UK or whatever. Having said that, for us, and I'm sure that for Pablo is similar, because he just said that being here in the UK help us to export more than when we were based just in Latin America. The UK still have a very strong brand, particularly in the financial sector. That so when I go now to New York and I sit with JP Morgan and say, hey, look, I'm a UK company, I work with Barclays, they at least listen. They are interested to understand what we are doing. So I think in that sense, like I don't know what is your global option challenges, but stepping on the UK before going somewhere else, I think that makes a lot of sense.
Brilliant. Pablo, do you want to add something to that?
No, just to agree with Rodrigo said, and remembering that at the FCA also have a sandbox experience. So if you have an innovative idea and you are unsure about getting a license, or if it's the timing for that, Remember that you can apply for the sandbox to be supervised by the FCA and still prove your concept. And thanks, Angela, for sharing that. The URL here on the chat. And remembering all of you that you're going to be able to meet FCA on the day 1 and 2 if you join the mission. Yeah.
Brilliant. So I think we are about to end our conversation today. So I would like to thank you so much, Rodrigo and Pablo, for such valuable insights. And for everyone who's watching, the session 2 will take place later this month. I don't know, Ricardo, if we have already established the date yet. And it will be focused on the go-to-market strategy and UK partnerships. And we will send you the recording of today's session and additional resources. If you have other questions, both Pablo and Rodrigo's LinkedIn is on our flyer today of the event, so you can also reach out to them and make questions and interact with them, and also, of course, meet them in person. If you meet them, if you're going to come to the UK FinTech Week later in March, or in April, sorry. And back to you, Ricardo, if you want to close, it would be mission.
That's great, Ludmila. Thanks very much for moderating so brilliantly our session today. And I'd like to thank you once again, Rodrigo and Pablo. Your experience not only landing and expanding in the UK, but most importantly, navigating the complex UK ecosystems provides exactly the kind of real-life example our delegation needs to prepare for the mission. So let me invite back Angela to talk a little bit of the preview of the program that we have today, because the UK FinTech Week mission is not just about attending events. You can do that on your own, but it's a very carefully curated 5-day program designed to maximize your time in London, including high-level networking, institutional access, ecosystem introductions, and strategic positioning opportunities. At present, the grid that you have on your screen is the activities that we have confirmed so far, but obviously this is a evolving matter, and hopefully we'll be adding more activities. Angela? You're on mute, Angela.
Thank you, Ricardo. Thank you, Rodrigo, Ludmila, and Pablo for excellent presentation and sharing us all your experiences. That is really invaluable for everyone that is watching us today. And Ricardo, as you mentioned, this week is really a very interesting week, because you are not really attending for the sake of attending. You are building connections, and these connections, you need to come prepared, as some of our speakers mentioned today. So please do your homework, ensure that you study what you are going to share with them, who the audience will be, what are their interests, and then make sure to establish the context, because this will be the context that it will open the doors for you. And being part of our delegation, we will very much facilitate any of these connections, introductions that we are able to do, as well as with the group that you will be together from all these different nations that are joining us. You will make perhaps partners and collaborations. So it's all worth the visit. So the first day is the regulator. So I saw some of you were very interested in meeting with the regulator. So we will have a session there, for which is the morning session with our regulator, followed by a session with the London VC network, as well as a law firm that can help you, and an accounting firm, EBS and Gunn & Cooker, that they can help you set up your business in the UK. Day 2, it's Innovate Finance, is really the flagship day of the conference, of the whole week. And you will have the opportunity, if you apply as well, to have one-to-one sessions with the regulator there. So it's really a very good event. You will meet international crowd, as well as you will have a special code to register through us that we negotiated. So very happy to share that once you registered. And this is followed with drinks. Day 3 and 4 As well, we have the London Stock Exchange. So if you're looking to list your business in the London Stock Exchange, you have the opportunity to see the actual venue where things happen and potentially even ring the bell at the end of the trading day. An opportunity to pitch your business at Pitch 360, and then follow that to the London and Partners event in the evening. The fourth day is at the Brazilian Embassy, which are very detailed event organized by the Brazilian Embassy, for which we will be invited, some of us to participate, followed by Canning House with our Otávio Domaso that is going to be presenting, which is the Deputy Governor of the Central Bank of Brazil, former Deputy Governor of the Central Bank, will be presenting on that day. With a closing drinks event in the evening, and Friday, possibly a Revolut event as well, where you will have the opportunity to visit the office and maybe even discuss collaborations with the fintech itself. So yeah, so a busy week, but very fruitful week, and hopefully with plenty of connections and opportunities for all of you that are joining this mission. Before we close, I would like to just say a few things. Specifically, I heard from the speakers today. We said about meeting people and networks are very crucial, doing the homework, having solid networks to create opportunities. Practice your pitch. I believe it was Rodrigo who mentioned that, building relationship, but also enjoying yourself. So you have opportunity to connect with big fintechs and small fintechs, but also traditional banks, and open banking is an area perhaps that you should consider. Consider the value opportunity you have, the fit and purpose. And going global, perhaps it's easier than going local. So very fruitful interaction today. Thank you, Ludmila, for an excellent moderation, really excellent. Rodrigo and Pablo, it was fantastic to have you. Such an invaluable experience, expanding your businesses. And who knows, we'll see you again, developing more businesses. So Ricardo, over to you.
Thanks, Angela. So just to wrap up, we would like to once again thank our partners and sponsors, Brazilian Association of Fintechs, London and Partners, Innovate Finance, Level 39, Canning House, Citigroup, London Stock Exchange, Gunnar Cook, EBS, and Revolut. This mission is only possible because of their support and collaboration. So if you're interested in joining the delegation and have not done so yet, just scan the QR code that you see on your screen and complete your registration today. So you're going to receive all the information that we shared today in this webinar, as well as the preparation for the mission. So that's it. Thanks for your time for today's session, and I'll see you in the next webinar. Bye.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.